Regional carols and customs are featured in tomorrow's programme in this series, a little later than today, just after 2 o'clock.
The Saint Day Carol. And in case you're wondering, that last verse was sung in Cornish. It's often called the Cornish Carol. And like many areas, Cornwall has its very own Christmas carols. And you'll find rich pickings right here near Redruth in the heart of the Cornish tin mining region. There's not much left of the old mines behind me, but in the heyday of the Industrial Revolution, they resounded to the clamour of the miners' songs, lifting them out of the sweat and drudgery of the appalling conditions underground. They looked for inspiration not only to God, but to their local chapel organist in the small village of Illugan. As this plaque proudly announces, Thomas Merritt is a composer of Christmas carols sung by Cornish men and women the world over. His carols are particularly suited to the full and rich sound of today's Cornish male voice choirs. And probably most people's favourite of his is Lo He Comes, an Infant Stranger.
Lo he comes, an infant stranger.
Thomas Merritt himself started out as a Cornish miner, yet the carols he composed by candlelight in his cottage have travelled as far as California, South Africa, and Australia. But they remain Cornish to the core, rooted in the traditions of the tin mines that inspired them. South Wales, on the other hand, plays host to an entirely different local tradition. It is New Year's night at Abertrydur, by Caerphilly in the Vale of Glamorgan, and the Mary Lwyd, or Grey Mary, has returned. It's supposed to represent the horse who was turned out of its stable to make way for Mary and Joseph on Christmas Eve, and is condemned to seek shelter where it may. The Mary Lwyd and its supporters arrive here at Cefn Llwyd Farm to ask for sustenance. They do so by singing verses of local carols, to which the householders must reply. If they fail to, they must give shelter to the Grey Mary. Otherwise, the horse has to continue its search. There is another theory about Mary Lwyd, which has it as a figure from Celtic mythology, and the singing as a regional version of the visiting wassail. Certainly these folk revivalists go about it with gusto, and the song is closer to the original winter festive carols than to a religious hymn. Most regions have their own traditions associated with carol singing, and it does seem as though drink is a vital part of most of them. For instance, it used to be customary for every family to have a wassail bowl steaming away throughout the Christmas season, though rarely as large as the 10-gallon silver-gilt bowl at Jesus College, Oxford, with its half-pint ladle. Cries of wassail and its reply, drink ale, meaning your health, used to be common in Herefordshire, Yorkshire and Gloucestershire. Singers would go from house to house with a wassail bowl decorated with ribbons, garlands, and sometimes a gilded apple. At each house they would invite the householders to drink wassail to the season and then top up the bowl before everyone moved on. Traditions varied from county to county, and at least one has survived in Somerset. On Old Christmas Eve, which is now January the 5th, the wassailers of Drayton meet to sing just one song, their own local wassail. They tramp round the most important houses in the parish to return in the small hours, mud-bespattered and merry.
And his hour was still, and I'm jolly come to our jolly was still. There was an old man, and he had an old cow, and how for to keep it he could not tell how. He built up a barn to keep his cow warm.
This is not conventional carol singing as happens everywhere today. They will not go knocking on doors, which might smack of begging, and the end of their song is always a formal toast to the household.
God bless Master and Missus and all the family, wishing you a happy Christmas, a bright and prosperous New Year, and many of them.
Further off in the Tanard Valley of Wales, from Oswestry west to Llanganog, there is another separate tradition of carols. It arose with the spread of Protestantism, and local carol writers from the 16th century onwards wrote memorable songs for the illiterate masses. The service at which the carols of local poets were heard, the Plugine, is still held in the valley. One carol about the life of Christ is When Our Redeemer Was Born. The carols of the Plugine are seldom sung these days outside the Tannet Valley. In fact, of all the Welsh, Cornish and wassailing traditions we've looked at in this program, there is only one carol that's become familiar to everybody, the wassail song, whose words and music hail from the West Riding of Yorkshire.
Here we come a-wassailing among the hills of green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Our wassail cup is made of the rosemary tree, and so is your beer of the fairest barley. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Call up the butler of this house, put on his golden ring. Let him bring us a glass of beer, and the better we shall sing. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Bring us out a table and spread it with a cloth. Bring us out some moldy cheese and some of your Christmas love. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. God bless the master of this house, likewise the mistress too. And all the little children that round the table go. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. And all your kind and clean folk that dwell both far and near, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a Happy New Year. And God send you a